Let's talk about pleasure. Pleasure. Welcome back, Awakening Beauties. I'm so happy to have you with me today. In case this is your first time joining me, my name is Robin, and I give you a hearty welcome. I'm talking a little breathless today because the topic of this video is pleasure. We're gonna keep it PG. I've been thinking about pleasure for a long time. And when I say a long time, I mean several months. It's a topic I've wanted to talk about in a video for many months now. And I was trying to remember when this word pleasure first came to me, and I had to pull out my planner from last year. And what I was doing is every month last year, I would give myself a word of the month. And the word of the month that I gave myself for October was pleasure. It got me thinking, what does pleasure really mean? What are the ways that I needed to bring more pleasure into my life? So in this video, we're going to talk about why we need pleasure in our life. That seems pretty obvious, but it's kind of not. I did a little research on pleasure, and I've learned a few things myself. I'm also going to give you 10 ways that you can start bringing pleasure into your life. And I'm also going to talk about ways that I've been bringing pleasure into my life, especially for the past couple of months. So why we need pleasure? Well, the obvious reason is survival and reproduction. And certain acts are pleasurable, and they lead to reproduction and the continuance of the species. But besides that reason that we're all aware of, and it's pretty obvious reason we have pleasure, what are other reasons that we need pleasure in our life? Well, pleasure is a mood regulator. And when we engage in pleasurable activities, we release certain neurotransmitters like endorphins, which act as natural mood enhancer and stress reliever. So when we engage in these pleasurable activities, it can contribute to a temporary escape from negative emotions and an overall state of well-being. So that is obviously a stress reducer. When we're engaging in different pleasurable activities, it helps to promote relaxation, learning, and adaptation. When we are engaged in pleasurable activities, positive experiences are more likely to be remembered, and the associated pleasure reinforces behaviors that are beneficial for an individual's adaptation to their environment. Motivation and goal achievement. The anticipation of pleasure can serve as a powerful motivator. Just think about if you're planning for a vacation and you know you need to set aside a certain amount of money for that trip. Just the anticipation of that goal that you're trying to achieve, the anticipation of the pleasure can help you achieve that goal. Psychological well-being. Pleasurable experiences provide a sense of fulfillment, satisfaction, and joy, enhancing the overall quality of life. Pursuing and experiencing pleasure is a fundamental aspect of human happiness. It helps individuals to cope with the daily stresses in life. And lastly, we need pleasure because it reinforces social bonds. Pleasure is often experienced in social interactions, contributing to the formation and maintenance of social bonds. Positive social exchanges trigger the release of oxytocin, a hormone associated with bonding and trust, and engaging in pleasurable activities together strengthens social connections, fostering a sense of community and support. I knew that we need pleasure in our life, but when I started researching the reasons why we need pleasure, other than I just want to feel better, I want to be happier, I wanted to go deeper. And then I saw a couple other influencers who made videos about that this was going to be the year of pleasure for them. And I had already been thinking that. I even wrote in my journal that 2024 was going to be my year of pleasure. So I am not following on people's coattails. This was something I have been thinking about since October, and maybe even a little earlier than October, to be quite honest with you. So now I want to talk about what are 10 ways that you can start incorporating incorporating pleasure into your daily life. And I'll share how I'm doing that as well. Number 1, practicing gratitude. This doesn't really seem like it would be associated with pleasure, but actually when you start cultivating this practice of gratitude and acknowledging and appreciating the things in your life that you're grateful for, this can shift your focus from lacking what you don't have, to appreciating the things that you do have. And when you start appreciating the things that you do have and taking time and being number 2, mindfulness and presence, by engaging in mindfulness and presence in the things that you have and that you appreciate, these little things become simple pleasures in your day-to-day life. So one of the things that I've been doing for the past few weeks is I've been getting back into my practice of meditation. I've been getting up at anywhere between 5:30 and 5:45 in the morning and spending between a half hour to 40 minutes usually in my meditation. And what I find is that I have a greater sense of calm and just like an inner joy that I'm taking with me throughout my day. It's become it's sort of unexpected, the change that it has made when I do it in the morning. Even if I have my monkey mind, which sometimes happen, I can at least feel proud of myself that I took the time to do something for myself, and it helps me to be more present in my day-to-day life. So by meditating and practicing, because it is a practice, you're enhancing the ability to enjoy the present moment and the simple pleasures in life. So be mindful of what you consume, whether it's food or media. Choose things that align with your values and will contribute to a positive overall state. Third way to bring pleasure into your life, or more pleasure into your life, is a healthy lifestyle. Taking care of your physical body through regular exercise, a balanced diet, and sufficient sleep. A healthy body can contribute to an overall sense of well-being. And I've talked about it last year that I had sort of dropped a lot of habits that I was trying to maintain because I wasn't getting enough sleep. By trying to do too many things, I wasn't getting enough sleep. I started focusing on my sleep and getting to bed earlier, and now it's getting easier for me to go to bed earlier. So that has contributed to my sense of pleasure. And having a healthy lifestyle, it's so easy when we're feeling very stressed out, life is overwhelming, we're rushing off to work, we have to get home, make dinner, whatever. I mean, I know I don't have kids and I have a husband who loves to cook, so he does primarily all the cooking, and I am very blessed in that way. But it's still, I work full time and I work longer, I work more than 40 hours a week for sure. And then I have at least every day an hour and a half commute. So taking the time to exercise, and I've talked about this too, that I have a gym at my office building. And so I've been going back to the gym usually twice a week. I've been doing weight training. And when I do that for myself, I feel so strong. I feel proud of myself that I've done it. Although getting the thought of going to the gym is not pleasurable, when I'm in it and I feel strong and I'm lifting more than I did before and I can feel my body getting stronger, that is bringing me pleasure. A fourth way to bring more pleasure into your life is by cultivating relationships. Connecting with other people can provide a sense of belonging and joy. And it's very important in life to have those social connections, whether it's with your family, your friends. Last year, we spent quite a bit of time with my nephews and their significant others. We went on a trip together to Gatlinburg, Tennessee, and also they came for Thanksgiving and well, one of my nephews couldn't come over for Christmas. One was able to come. Christmas was kind of weird, actually, because everybody was doing different things. But after Christmas, my nephew did come back to visit with his girlfriend, and we kept our tree up until then, a month later. And they opened their presents, and the next day I took the tree down. But anyways, those times, this is one of the things that I've learned too, that when you have an expectation of what Christmas was supposed to look like, and our Christmas didn't look anything like what I imagined in my mind that it was going to look like, because like I said, my nephews couldn't come. It was just everybody was going different directions, but we did our own Christmas a month later. And I just didn't put I'm not putting any rules on what the holidays are supposed to look like. And I'm enjoying the moments that I get to spend with those that I love. And yeah, I just think where a lot of people go wrong is, and I actually talked about this in a video leading up to Christmas about, how to get through the holidays, basically. And I think that's, if you haven't watched that video, it's worth watching for any time of the year if you have family events coming up, because it can be quite stressful. By taking the pressure off yourself that it has to look like any one way just because you see the Hallmark commercials or movies, or you see the Instagram so-called lives that people are leading. They're not real. So just take that with a grain of salt. You're doing fine. Fifth way to cultivate more pleasure in your life is by taking up a hobby. Exploring different hobbies that might interest you and engage in such activities that you feel passionate about, whether it's a sport, art, music, any other hobby. Spending time on things you love can bring an immense amount of pleasure. One of the things that I really enjoy doing is I've been learning how to play guitar for the past couple of years. I've been taking guitar lessons and singing more and writing some songs. Another thing that I do as a hobby is improv comedy, and I'm in a troupe and we get to perform every few months, and that sort of took a backseat after the pandemic. I mean, I used to be pretty much a full-time improviser before the pandemic, but things changed and I had to change with it and shift my priorities and what kind of importance that played in my life. And that was something that gave me an immense amount of pleasure in my life, but it changed. Life changed. The whole world changed. I had to also change my perspective on it and let go of my expectations of what improv was going to look like for me after that. Anyways, that's sort of an aside to that situation, and I might talk about that more in an upcoming video when things don't go as expected and how we navigate life's waters. A sixth way to cultivate more pleasure in your life is by learning. Continuous learning and personal development can provide a sense of accomplishment or satisfaction. Setting goals, both short-term and long-term, working towards achieve them do bring an immense amount of pleasure when you've achieved a goal that you've set out for. I've always been a person who liked to learn and have always been sort of goal-oriented. And honestly, I think for the past few years, I really set a lot of goals aside. In other words, I wasn't setting any goals. This year, I've set a lot of goals for myself. I've gotten very specific with what my goals are, and I'm working towards achieving them. And I'm going to get into, after I get through this list, I'm going to talk a little bit more about the things that I'm doing that are bringing me pleasure. So I'm going to kind of circle back to that. So just stay tuned. So a seventh way to bring more pleasure in your life is to celebrate achievement. No matter how small, by celebrating achievements, this reinforces the positive change and positive mindset and motivates you to continue to pursue other goals. Go ahead, celebrate yourself. Take your friends out, have a drink, celebrate. Whether it's you paid off that credit card that you've had hanging over your head for 2 years, or started contributing to your 401k. Let's celebrate life's achievements. Number 8 is to disconnect. And that means disconnecting from social media, technology, being constantly surrounded by technology. We don't even realize how overwhelming it is to our senses. And a digital detox really can help you appreciate the world around you. I experienced this myself. In the summer of 2021 and 2022, I went for 2 weeks to Peru and went into the jungle and did a meditation retreat, which I've talked a little bit about. I have another video about that. And there was no technology. There was no electricity. There was no running water other than the river and the waterfall. And there was no EMF. There was no cell phone towers. There was no technology around us. And the peace that I experienced is unlike anything I've ever experienced in this modern world that we live in. And it really helped me to appreciate how bombarded we are by technology and by frequencies that disrupt our bodies. And I know it's hard, not all of us can go to the jungle, but doing things within your own home to mitigate that, such as making sure you're not sleeping with your phone next to you. Set a bedtime for your technology. My technology lets me know at 8 o'clock that it's time to start winding down for bed. Do I always pay attention? No, I don't always turn off that YouTube video. I don't always stop doing everything that I'm doing, but it's a goal. It's a goal that I want to, at 8 o'clock, put everything away. Get my phone away from me, close up my laptop, stop editing that video, and winding down by reading. That's something that's a goal for myself. So taking a detox from technology, and I've had people say, gosh, you must have been boring in the jungle. And I was just like, I wasn't bored 1 second of the day. It was amazing. There was so much to see in nature, so much going on around me in nature that I could pay attention to. And there was so much going on inside of me that I was able to pay attention to. I was able to journal a lot and really get in touch with my deepest inner thoughts, things that I had suppressed about myself, memories from life that I had forgotten about. And so there was not a moment that I was bored, I can tell you that. Anyways, finding ways to detox from technology is definitely going to bring you more pleasure. Number 9, help others. Jesus said that there's more happiness in giving than receiving. Helping others provides a sense of purpose and satisfaction in life. We're not focused on our own problems when we're helping other people. So find ways in your community, big or small, whatever it may be. Maybe you just go and get groceries for your elderly neighbor. Something very simple, an act of kindness can mean a lot to somebody else and gets your mind off of your own things that are going on in your life. And number 10, travel and explore. If it's within your resources to travel abroad or travel around the country, or maybe it's just exploring new places in your own community that you've never been to. Getting outside of our little bubble, getting outside of our routine of the places that we're routinely driving to and going to every single day or every single week can get very monotonous. It's so monotonous that we don't even pay attention anymore to a lot of things that are happening around us while we're in these routines that we're in. But the great thing about travel is it gets you out of your routine. It sort of breaks the pattern of thinking that we have. If you've ever traveled abroad and you feel so alive, you feel so alert, you're noticing every single thing that's happening. And that's such an awesome feeling. Whether we have the funds to travel abroad or not, even doing that by going places within, an hour or two of where you live, somewhere that you could drive to, that you could explore some new thing that you've never seen, a park you haven't been to, a museum you haven't been to, or maybe a little town that has a little downtown area with vintage shops. It could be anything. It doesn't have to be some extravagant vacation. If you can take the trip, then great, take the trip. But it doesn't have to be that. Just creating experiences in your life on a routine basis to break you out of your normal cycles. I love to travel. Travel is a source of immense pleasure for me. Trying to bring those types of experiences more into your life is a way to bring more pleasure into your life. So I want to just talk about some of the ways that I'm bringing more pleasure into my life. It wasn't like I was intentionally doing these things for the purpose of this video. I had thought about making a video about pleasure. In fact, around that same time, September, October, I had written down video ideas. One of them was pleasure. And I was like, I don't even know how to talk about pleasure. And every week I would push it off. And I kept pushing off until now because I didn't even know how to talk about pleasure. I'm like, how am I even bringing pleasure into my life? I'm feeling very stressed out and very overwhelmed in life for the most part, like many of us are. But I have been doing a few things that have been bringing some pleasure in my life. And some of them are free and some of them I've paid for. So anything that I've paid for, I will link below in case you're interested in checking them out. I put up a post just a couple of weeks ago on Instagram and I wrote, light the damn candle. My girlfriend came over for dinner and she brought me this beautiful candle. And as soon as she left and I went into my bathroom to do my nightly routine, skincare routine, I lit the candle. I sent a little video to her of me lighting the candle, thanking her for the candle. And she wrote back, and you lit it already. Good for you. And I thought about that and I said, yeah. Light the damn candle. How many times have we either purchased a lovely candle or someone has given us a gift of a candle and it has sat on a shelf somewhere or on a countertop looking pretty, but we never lit the candle. And I've had candles that were decorative candles that I never lit and they lost their fragrance. Then I went to light them and I said, they don't even smell like anything anymore. And then they didn't burn right either because they were so old. And then I said, this is a post. I'm gonna write a post, light the damn candle. How many times are we waiting in life for the right moment to take that bath with those fancy bath salts that we bought at a spa, and we've just been holding on to them and we're waiting for the right moment to use them. Use them now. Light the damn candle. Perfume. I had these perfumes. When I did my bathroom declutter, I discovered a couple of them were expired and I smelled them and they didn't smell great, but then I had two, my Gucci and Lovely. And I decided I'm going to put them in my closet, and in the morning when I'm getting ready, I have a shelf where I have a little mirror in my closet. And when I'm getting ready in the morning now, it's become part of my routine that at the end, after I'm dressed or as I'm getting my shoes out of my closet to finish getting dressed and getting my accessories on, before I put my jewelry on, I will spray myself with a little perfume. And that's just a little way that I'm bringing a little pleasure into my life. I didn't even realize I was missing that. And now that I'm using up those products, those perfumes that were not inexpensive when I bought them, and they're bringing me pleasure. Why would I wait? Why would I not wear them? Use that perfume. Use that Chanel perfume that you have. So light the damn candle. Another way that I'm bringing pleasure into my life is I bought these silk pillowcases from Blissy. Now you bought 3 and you got 1 free. So I haven't opened this one. So I just want to show you. And I'm not sponsored. I don't have any coupon codes. So I'm just going to show you how they package this. You want to talk about pleasure, okay? Just the box itself is very pleasurable with this mirrored, debossed font here. the pink satin sort of very sexy box, and this silk little pull that it has. Just the presentation of it has brought me so much pleasure. And the way that they've packaged it, you pull it out, and I mean, look at that. This is my first time opening this box. But these silk pillowcases, I just got the ivory color. They're so soft, and they keep me cool at night also. I'm a weirdo. I sleep with a pillow over top of my head. So having the pillow under me, the pillow on top of my head, and I also bought the turban, which I've been wearing at night to protect my hair. But this has brought me an immense amount of pleasure and feels very sexy. I love it. I would love to get a whole set of sheets, and hopefully in a few months I'll be able to do that. So that's sort of on the agenda of things that I want to do to bring myself a little more pleasure in life. Listening to more music. In the morning, I've been getting up, like I said, and doing my meditation, but then I've also been getting back on my Cellerciser, and I've been doing this for a few weeks now. I've been getting on my Cellerciser for 10 minutes a day. I'll put a little footage up here in case you don't know what a Cellerciser is. It's a mini trampoline. And so I'm listening to music as I'm bouncing on my Cellerciser. And I'll continue to listen to music instead of just switching it immediately over to a podcast once I'm done, which is sort of what I used to do. I'm listening to more music, and that is bringing me pleasure. And I know a lot of people listen to music, and as much as I love music, you would think that I would be listening to music all the time, but I like to be educated, so I listen to a lot of educational type podcasts. And I am still listening to those podcasts, but I'm spending a little more time in the morning listening to music, and that's bringing me pleasure. Skincare rituals, AM and PM. I've been spending a lot more time just on my skincare rituals, taking the time to experience my products, my skincare devices. I have a Nuface, and I use that in the morning. And I have a Nira Precision Laser and a Nira Pro Laser, and I use those at night, and along with all my skincare products. And again, this is not sponsored. I'm not trying to get you to buy any of these devices. What I'm saying is that I am really enjoying the process of caring for my skin. And I see a difference. I notice a difference just putting the attention to myself. And whether you only have 5 minutes, or if you're like me and spend about a half an hour on it, I think it's so important to take that time and just be present with it and grateful of yourself and your body's ability to heal, and thanking your body for everything it does for you, which you don't even think about. So that's another way I'm bringing pleasure into my life. Being more mindful. And in my skincare regimen, I feel like I'm being a little more mindful in that, and not just trying to automate it or just trying to get through it. I'm really like taking my time with it. When I'm doing the Nuface, you have to go in slow motions and wait for the beep. And, sometimes I start going a little too fast, and I'm like, oh, I didn't go slow enough. It hasn't beeped yet. And I also have a Sonicare toothbrush, which if you have a Sonicare, it takes 2 minutes, and you're in 20 seconds in each quadrant. 20 seconds here, 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 and then up, up, up. And so what I'm doing is box breathing. Box breathing is breathing in for 4 counts, holding for 4 counts, breathing out for 4 counts, holding for 4 counts. So I'm box breathing while I'm doing my Sonicare, and it has made it like not such a chore. I'm actually surprised when it beeps to go to the next section. It's like time slows down and speeds up at the same time. It's hard to describe, but I'm not feeling rushed. I'm not feeling pressured. I'm not feeling anxious that I just have to get this done. I'm being very mindful and present during the process. One of the ways on the list to bring more pleasure in your life was of practicing gratitude. So I'm doing that. I'm doing that daily. And I'm also like on Saturday is my time in the morning to sit and really journal about my week, and I start with all the things that I am proud of myself for have accomplished that week. Even like I only went for one walk that week, but I was like, I am so proud that I went for that walk. And yes, I would love to walk every night of the week. I didn't get to, but I'm still proud that I did it that one time. Just finding all the things that I'm grateful for that happened that week, the things that I'm proud of that I accomplished for that week, is a way that's bringing me pleasure. I'm also grateful for the things that I own. If you've been watching some of my content for the past year, I've been doing some declutters. More are coming. We just worked on our garage. We're not quite done with the garage, but we're in the process of decluttering and cleaning out our garage. And so that will be a video upcoming at some point. But I'm trying to just take care of the things that I have. When you have too many things, there's too much to take care of. So by having less and living a little more simplified life, I do enjoy doing laundry. I find great pleasure in doing laundry. And I find pleasure in organizing and decluttering also, when I actually make the time to do it. Sometimes I've found myself feeling very overwhelmed, and the thinking about the process of doing it, I couldn't even start. But now that I'm on the path and I've begun all of these declutters, and I'm changing my mindset after doing a whole no-buy year last year, and I'm changing my mindset about things. I'm changing my mindset about what does abundance mean. I'm changing my mindset about what brings me pleasure. I'm changing my mindset about how much do I actually need. I'm changing my mindset about what is going to bring me joy. I'm changing my mindset about my relationship to money. By having less and preparing myself for even having a lot less in terms of getting rid of a lot more things and feeling okay with that, I can take more pride in the things that I do have than the things that I end up keeping, or anything that I end up bringing into my life, any clothes I might get, any more makeup I might get. By having less and taking pride in the things that I have allows me to take better care of the things that I have, and that brings me a lot of pleasure. I did a 30-day wardrobe challenge a couple of times last year, and although I'm not sure that if I'll probably do them again, although I doubt that I will share them on social media because nobody really cares when I share it. I don't get really any feedback about it, and it's a lot of time making those posts. It's a lot of time. If you guys only knew how much time I actually spent on that, it's a shocking amount of time. And the return on investment was just not there. But I do a 30-day wardrobe challenge a couple of times a year. And I do this for myself, where I'll pull everything that I'm currently wearing out of my closet, and I put together 30 days worth of outfits where I try not to repeat any one item. That way I'm wearing everything that's in my closet, and then I'm also getting more clarity about the things that I don't really like, that I don't want to wear. And if I find myself pushing off an outfit or an item every day instead of like that's next in line, and I'm like, then I have clarity that that's not something I want to keep. I know that there's some things in my closet right now that I didn't wear in the last 30-day wardrobe that I was supposed to wear, and I found other things to wear instead. And I said, well, then that means that thing needs to go. So there's some things I'm going to be getting rid of. But it also helps me to have appreciation and give honor to the clothes that I've purchased, and that's very pleasurable to me. So a last way that I'm experiencing pleasure or bringing pleasure in my life, and this is something I never thought I would hear myself say in my whole life, but I'm finding pleasure in budgeting. I'm almost gamifying my budget. I did a video about how much did I save in my no-buy year, and it really, when you have the numbers in black and white through your accounting software, it's pretty enlightening. So I got to see what I spent in all the categories: groceries, travel, dining out. And me and my husband sat down and talked about it and ways that we thought we could cut back. And so we're he does the majority of the grocery shopping, so we're kind of gamifying the grocery shopping. He's not shopping at some of the more expensive grocery stores. He's going to some of the less expensive ones. And we're trying to live within our budget because we have big goals for ourselves over the next 5 years. Seeing how my money is shifting and how I'm saving more money, and really feel like we can accomplish some of the goals that we have financially, some of the renovations that we need to, some of the repairs that we need to do the house, some of the renovations that we need to do the house, the travel that we want to do, as well as saving for our retirement. That is bringing me a lot of pleasure, I gotta tell you. And I sit down now. I used to avoid it. I used to not look at my numbers. I used to not look at my bank accounts. I would go probably every quarter. And then I would sit down quarterly because I have to do our business bank books. And so I do it all, in a weekend, or try to get it all done in a weekend. And it was just absolutely miserable. And now I'm not doing that. Now I'm doing weekly. I'm taking care of my numbers weekly. And I made a category for myself for things that I do every day. I call it items on top of my shit. So I'm opening that mail. I'm aware of the bills that have come in. I'm aware of what needs to get paid. No more late fees. I'm paying things on time. I'm transferring that money to savings. I have automatic transfers to savings, but I also know that if I stuck to my budget, this is the extra amount that I can put into savings. And we're doing it. And I am doing the transfer on Saturdays of the extra money that we didn't spend. It's going into savings. And I'm seeing our savings going up and up and up. And even if it's just a little bit that it's going up, I feel really good about that. And something else I did. This is, I told you nothing is sponsored in this video, but one of the things that I did was open an Apple card, and if you open an Apple card, you get an Apple savings account automatically with a 4.5% APY, which is, I'm getting 0.2% at my savings account at my bank. Well, now I'm moving my money over to my Apple savings account, and I'm getting 4.5% interest rate. So that brought me a lot of pleasure, letting my money work for me. I hope this gets you thinking a little bit more about how you experience pleasure, the things that you're doing in your life that bring you pleasure, and how you can bring more pleasure into your life. You deserve it. We all deserve to have pleasure. Life is very stressful. You're watching the news every day, that's not going to be bringing you any kind of pleasure in your life. So sit down. This is what I've been doing also, is I'll make my tea and keep it in a thermos, and then pour it into a beautiful teacup. My aunt gave me these teacups that she bought on a trip to Japan. Sit down and have that lovely cup of tea in your favorite teacup. Watch the sunset. Watch the sunrise, listen to the birds outside, read that book that you've had sitting there collecting dust, and bring yourself just a little bit of pleasure, even if it's just for 5 to 10 minutes a day. You deserve it. We all deserve it. And I hope you do. And until next time, you're doing great.